So let me explain real quick the deprivation of rights under color of law that's occurring not only here in the state of Michigan, but across 23 other states. So when a prosecuting attorney chooses to rely upon an inferior state statute that permits them to do something contrary to the Constitution of the United States, these prosecuting attorneys, they have an obligation that was created upon entering into their office when they made a promise that they will fulfill what the Constitution of the United States says that they will fulfill. When they fail to do it willfully or negligently, they commit a crime. Deprivation of rights under color of law. So when a prosecuting attorney chooses to rely upon an inferior state statute to charge a person with the incorrect charging instrument, then that is a crime. Title 18, subsection 242, deprivation of rights under color of law, which states any person who, under the color of any state statute, ordinance, custom, or regulation, deprives the person of any rights secured by the Constitution, commits that crime. This is a per se crime, meaning that I don't have to prove that they intended to breach their obligation. Simply by virtue of the breach, all elements of crime have been met. So when I can show that they had an obligation to utilize an indictment by a grand jury before holding someone over for a capital or an infamous crime, failure to do so by charging by way of information is a crime. So when that prosecuting attorney commits that crime and then goes to a judge and states to a judge, I would like you to hold this person over for this offense, now we have a conspiracy to deprive of rights. Title 18, subsection 241, by and between the judge and the prosecuting attorney. Every single judicial officer in the state of Michigan, in the state of Ohio, the state of Washington, the state of Pennsylvania, every single one of them have a duty and an obligation to ensure that the power that they exercise is consistent with their authority. If they choose to breach their obligation and abuse their power as a result of relying upon someone else's abuse of power, then the power that they exercise is no power at all. Remember, the laws of criminal conspiracy says any person who, having knowledge of any of the wrongs conspired to be done, and mentioned in the preceding section, and who have the power to prevent or aid in the prevention of the commission of same, neglects or refuses to do so, may be joined as defendants in the action. Having provided notification to the Attorney General of the state of Washington, Attorney General Nessels, having provided that notification, she is now fully aware that she must act, and failure to do so, willfully or negligently, makes her complicit due to her complacency. She must make a decision now, and that decision must be consistent with what the law demands. If her agents are acting unconstitutionally, relying upon an inferior state law, then she herself will become complicit in the act due to her negligence. So we want to challenge her right now that before you say that something is imperfect, before you decide that you can act illegally and unconstitutionally because you feel as though it's necessary to secure a criminal judgment, before you do that, I challenge you to first use the system the way that it was designed to be used. Don't blame the law for your incompetence or your laziness, because that's all it is. The law is clear. The Constitution of the United States establishes the obligations of government by and between the people. And when you fail to fulfill those obligations, you are a criminal. And you will remain a criminal until such time as you decide to return to compliance with the law. When you deal with a criminal conspiracy, there are only two ways to mitigate your criminality. Way number one is you must notify the authorities of the criminal acts. But when you are the Attorney General of the state, it doesn't do any good to notify the authorities because you are the authority. So the second way is you must notify your co-conspirators of your intent to no longer participate in criminal conspiracy, and that must be done by some affirmative action. If we do not see your action from this moment forward, there is no action. So you must make a decision. And I suggest that you make the right one, because if you don't make a decision, it is still a decision, and it will be the wrong decision. We will hold you criminally liable for the crimes that you committed against the people of the state of Michigan. Thank you so much for letting me serve you and your family. Attorney General, please discharge the duties of your office, fulfill the obligations that you made, discharge your duties. Hold the people accountable for the crimes that they commit. I don't care who they are. Everyone is accountable for their criminal conduct. Thank you.